Good morning, gang. It's Rob. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and do a quick video showing my traveler's notebook setup. I got a traveler's notebook for a gift as a Christmas present from my stepmom 2 years ago. And like a dummy, it sat in the box unused for about 6 months because I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And boy, do I regret that decision. This is a different one than I received. I changed to the Love and Trip version when that released earlier this year because I loved the color. My original one was the camel colored one, and it's gorgeous. You can see that it starts to pick up some road rash from being out in the world, and it really adds to the gorgeousness of the leather. But I really loved this color, so I picked it up. I wish that I had started using this earlier. It's very useful. It's very utilitarian, but it can also be really fun and functional at the same time. I just wanted to do a quick walkthrough and show you how I use it. So basically, it is a leather cover and a modular refill system that lets you swap books in and out as needed for different scenarios. So I use this for work and for travel so that I don't have to bring my everyday carry journal, which is for right now a Hobonichi A5 cousin, out into the real world. I'm a little paranoid about spilling something on it or losing it or whatever. So I keep work life and home life separate that way. This is a little bit more durable because it is covered in leather. It's smaller, so it's more portable. It's modular, so it's very functional. I can swap things in and out as needed. And that's just not something that you can do with the Hobonichi. It's just a grab and go, carry all in one. And it's static. It's used as is. So this is very, very functional and useful. It comes with a leather band that keeps it closed because it is essentially just a square-ish piece of leather that's used to wrap everything else up inside of it. So it comes with an elastic cord. It comes standard with the cord coming through the back, but that presents a problem when you're writing because you can feel that through the leather. So I relocated mine to the spine, just using a leather awl and threaded the strap through. I keep some little charms on it. A lot of people who use traveler's notebooks keep little charms on it. I just think they're cute. So I've got a traveler's notebook fountain pen and an icon that says never, never give up. And then up on the elastic closure, I've got crystal, a little Aries symbol, and the Coffee Monsters Co. Sprout lobster clasp charm that I got last year. When you open it up, you can see in the spine there's another elastic cord. I'll get to that in just a minute. And here is the elastic cord from the outside. It's just a simple knot that keeps it on the inside. I also have installed some leather keepers around the center edge and on the corners to help keep this leather intact. Because it's meant to be used out in the real world, it gets banged up and that actually looks good, but I don't want the leather to get distressed to the point where it starts to fray. So at the points of contact where it comes into contact with the world the most, I protect it with these brass corner keepers and edge charms. When you open it up, I've got a Traveler's Company canvas pouch that is threaded through. Actually, before I do that, let me show you how it works. So in the very center, take off these clips so I can move freely. I'll explain the clips later. But in the very center of all of these is the other side of that center elastic strap. It's right here. It threads through the cover and then through whatever refills you're using. And that's what keeps it inside the cover. So it holds it all together. As you just saw, it's not 100% foolproof. Things will shift around, so don't sling it about by the cover, but it does keep everything from flying all over the place as you're flipping through. So the inserts that I've got a traveler's notebook canvas pouch. On one side of it, it is a pouch. I'll go through the contents in a little bit. On the other side, it's a pocket flap with some business card holders. Next, I've got a washable craft black paper file folder that holds folded up US letter size or A5 size documents. There's one of those on each side. This is actually washable material, so if you get ink on it, you can run it through a washer or a hand wash, and it'll be just fine. Next up, let's talk about this clear cover. This is a Lauren Phelps design insert. And it's got covers on the front, pockets on the front and on the inside, as well as business card size flaps. And the idea is you take your inserts and put them on the inside and the outside. Then you don't have the need to use rubber band elastics to keep these books attached to this strap. Because the way that the Traveler's Notebook comes, it uses these elastic bands that run through everything and hook onto these elastic bands so that you can have multiple inserts tied together and they won't flop around. But these are kind of bulky, and when you're writing, you kind of have to take your books out to work around that because it's like a speed bump because they're very thick rubber bands. So I swapped to this Lauren Phelps clear plastic cover because on each side you can hold 2 notebooks. And there's room for another one in the back here that I'm not using because it makes the book bulky. But it keeps those from flopping around so much and also provides a little bit of extra storage for business cards and stuff like that. And then I have a Love and Trip plastic folder that I just keep tucked in the back. And this is where I keep receipts that have to be filed so I don't lose those. And then that's the back side of the Traveler's Company canvas pouch. So let's look a little bit closer at these inserts. The first one that I use is the Traveler's Notebook undated monthly calendar. And this is your 30,000 foot at a glance of your month view. So you can just use this to jot down the important things that are happening that you need to make sure that you keep on your radar. The next book, you can't see the front because it's inserted, is the dated weekly calendar. And it goes from 7 o'clock in the morning until midnight. So darn near a whole day. 11 o'clock, not midnight. So darn near the whole day. On the sidebar, you've got some monthly views. In the bottom is an actual blank spot. And I use this page to track the clients that I'm doing and some financial stuff that I track data-wise. And this is very good because it's dated already, so I don't have to worry about dating it. They have undated versions like this month. But if I could have gotten the monthly dated version, I would have, because it's a pain in the butt to set that up. But I got to the game too late and they were already sold out of those. So undated it is for me. But I did get the weekly dated, so that's great. And then I use a blank dot grid style notebook and I bullet journal some shopping lists for all of my salon products. And that's how I keep track of my orders every week. What I've ordered, what I've received, and what's been shipped and I'm waiting for. And that's it as far as the inserts go. And then as far as the functional stuff that I carry around with me, in the front pocket, I keep some Post-it notes, a Midori sticker release travel album that is chock-a-block loaded with the Coffee Monsters Co. stickers and tiny icons. And I use these to keep track of my calendar with important stuff for work and travel related things. I think that at some point, Helen at the Coffee Monsters Co. Made a travel size version of her branded sticker release book, but I was late to the game and did not get one, and I'm keeping my eye out for one of those. For right now, I'm using the passport size Midori, who is the company that makes the Traveler's Notebook, Midori. So I just used their passport size in that pocket because it's more than enough that I need. And then on the inside black craft washable envelope, I keep a week's size plastic envelope from the Coffee Monsters Co. filled with week's size Hobonichi kits that come with a variety of different functional stickers and decorative stickers that you can use to lay your week. And I stopped using my weeks a couple of months ago. So I've started using these weeks monthly kits in my traveler's notebook, and they're great. Then I've got a couple of her washi sheets and a reusable washi holder that's got some samples of the Coffee Monsters Co. washi on it, so that in case I want to do some deco, I can. And this was very generously gifted to me by one of the members of the Coffee Monsters Co. Facebook group. I'm very grateful for that group. Everybody in there is just so nice. It is literally the kindest place on the planet. And lastly, I've got a Traveler's Notebook branded pencil board, and this is their current release. It's called Love and Trip. This is what came with the red cover. There was a cover, there was a pencil board, there was a plastic folder, and there were a couple of notebooks, blank notebooks, and I believe a sticker sheet. So I keep the pencil board in here so that when I'm doing my bullet journaling, I can have something nice, firm to write against. The last thing I wanted to show you is some of the stencils that I use and rulers. Of course, I've got my the Coffee Monsters Co. emoji ruler in the rose gold colorway. And this is fantastic because it's got some stencil cutouts for bullets in square and circle shapes, and a nice cutout here that lets you draw straight lines completely perfectly offset from the edge. And I'll show you what I mean in just a minute, because I'm going to do a sample bullet journal for you. This is the Traveler's Notebook brass ruler. It's really nice because it's got a beveled edge on this side. So in theory, I don't know if you can see that in this video, it has like a little lip that pops up. In theory, you can use a fountain pen to draw straight lines, which normally you would not want to do that with a regular straight edge, because you can actually bend the tines of your fountain pen unless it's got this kind of offset edge. I'm still too nervous to do that, so I just use it like a regular ruler, but there you go, you have it. And then I've got some various metal stencils for bullet journaling. You can do some tiny icons with that. I hardly ever use these anymore because this is what I've been using. This is from an Etsy shop called Jaden's Apple, and this is the most thoughtfully crafted and well-designed metal stencil ruler set that I've ever come across. It is much sturdier than the other ones. It's substantial, so this is not as flimsy as the other ones. It's got perfectly spaced grids, bullets, icons, shapes, anything that you need to do icon work in a bullet. It's got a circle stencil that you can use in place of a protractor and make perfect circles, perfectly sized circles. And you use these markings on here to measure everything perfectly. And then this is a line ruler, and I'll show you what this does. Let's just do a quick sample bullet journal. This is how I make my order sheets every week. This is just a pouch that I keep strapped to the front of my traveler's notebook that's got a couple of pens and pencils in it. So I'm going to take, this is the Zento Signature Model gel roller ball, and I usually use this large rectangle to make a header. It's perfectly lined up with 5mm grids. So as long as you can see your dots, you are good to go to make a perfect rectangle, perfectly spaced. And then I don't know if this will show up on camera either, but there are tiny holes drilled into this stencil. And the idea is you line this hole up with that dot, and you can barely see that it pops through. The lighting in here is really poor. There it is, right there. Top and bottom, and then stencil to your heart's content. And what you're left with is a square stencil that's perfectly placed inside the dot grid. This really soothes the itch in my brain that likes neat and orderly things. It makes it so easy. And then this other one you can use, it's also perfectly lined up to a 5mm grid. You just line up on the dots. As long as you can see your dots in this space, you're good to go. And the edge is perfectly spaced for that gap. I want my first line to be underneath that first box. So once you're lined up, top and bottom, you can see the dots on the top and the bottom. You can just zip lines, and you don't have to space and worry about whether it's going to line up perfectly, because it does. Now, if you're going fast like I did, you can see a little hiccup where I hit my finger, but take your time and everything works out perfectly. So it's a really easy way to do some bullet journaling, at least for my purposes it is. So that's how I use this traveler's notebook. Some of the things that I swap in and out that I wanted to touch on really quickly, these are what came with it. This is the elastic bands that you use to keep your refills in place. You can also buy what's called a repair kit that comes with extra elastic cords, strings, and tin fasteners. And that's what holds the strings in place up here. And they come in 2 different colorways. This one's a more muted color, and then the regular one has got more vibrant colors. This is the dot grid notebook that I use most often to do my bullet journaling. This is what came with the kit. It's a blank Midori cream paper that's very nice to write on. These are 2 refills that I use when I'm traveling. I've got a zipper case and a 3-fold file, and this one's really cool because you can put a full-size document in here and it folds it up. So travel itineraries, maps, that sort of thing, that can go in there. And this zipper case, you can tuck cash in there, a passport. It's waterproof, so you can keep things safe. And then I will have this plastic file folder that's got expandable pockets inside. And I'll take that with me to store receipts and travel documents as well. You can also do stamp work in these. I use the Tim Holtz Ranger Distress Oxide in Hickory Smoke because it's not too dark and doesn't bleed through too horribly. I use the Coffee Monsters Co. clear stamps with an acrylic block, and those just attach with light pressure, and then you dip it in your ink and stamp it on your pad. And then there are a variety of bullet journal clear stencils that make things like grids, calendar formats, border details, reading lists, to-do lists, days of the week, months, numbers, you name it. You can stamp to your heart's content. And lastly, I wanted to give you a caution. There are companies out there that will sell things that they call travel size, like this Klesha notebook that Life Company sells, which is one of my favorite paper companies, and I bought this because it was marketed as travel size, which I assumed meant travel notebook, but it is not the same size at all. It's the same height, but not the same width. So this sticks out really far. So just be careful that you're finding something with the right dimensions. Because you don't want, if you're going to have multiple refills in here, you don't want too much hanging out of here, because whatever is pushed out or is overhanging could get banged up around and dinged and all that stuff. And you're going to try to keep things looking nice. So that's all I've got. If you've enjoyed this video, would you do me a favor and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and interact with this video with a like and a comment, or even forward it along to a friend. I'm really trying to grow this audience, so any help that you could give me would be so appreciated. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. Bye-bye.